world of everything. Hi, I'm Colin the Head, and welcome back to Colin the Head's World of Everything. And I'm back, I'm here, I'm back on your screens, I've come back. And today what we've decided to do, we've come to Yorkshire Coast, Bridlington. We've just come to harbour, we're going to go to harbour and see what Brid Harbour's got to offer us. I'm Colin the Head, and this is Colin the Head's World of Everything. The first mention of Bridlington was actually in the Doomsday Book. So it's been here for years and years and years. Prior to Doomsday Book, there were evidence that Romans, Bronze Age people, they used to land here as well. You know what I mean? So it's steeped in history, really, is Brid Harbour. People just flock to Bridlington just to come and have some fish and chips or a donut or something. But really there's more going off at Brid Harbour than what you'd actually expect. The harbour itself is the hub. It's like the centre. It's the nerve centre of Bridlington is this harbour here, and it's been here for centuries. The main catch here at Brid Harbour is shellfish, and if you can look behind me you can see all pots on top of that pier there where them seagulls are and stuff. And therefore obviously for catching shellfish. So main catch at harbour is going to be crab, mussels, well, probably odd lobster here and there, and that's the main catch here at Brid Harbour. Even before the actual harbour was built, this massive like sea wall was stood on now, there would have been actually a natural harbour here. So people have actually been landing vessels and craft here at Bridlington for absolutely centuries, and it's still a functioning harbour to this day. It's still used daily by fishermen. It's not just a tourist attraction, it's not just here to attract tourists. Actual Bridlington Harbour is still actually working to this day. As you can see behind me with these lobster pots behind me, they're obviously there because the harbour itself is still being used this day by fishermen and catching fish and well. So that's just a little bit about Brid Harbour. What we're going to do now, we're going to have a quick walk around harbour, see what's happening in Brid Harbour. So here at Brid Harbour, we've got 3 different types of stuff actually happening. We've got leisure, we've got pleasure, we've got industry. As you can see behind me, we've got a lot of pleasure crafts just parked up here in Brid Harbour at the moment. Or moored up, should I say. Just moored up in Brid Harbour. Obviously tide's out at the moment and they're not going really very far. Because obviously another thing about Brid Harbour, it's a tidal harbour. That means when tide's in, it's full, and when tide's out, it's empty, right? So it's tidal. It's not got gates to keep water. It's not always got water in it on Brid Harbour. So we've got leisure, we've got pleasure crafts here parked up. We've also got pleasure craft behind me. You can see that Yorkshire Belle. Well, Yorkshire Belle is just there. That's probably the most famousest boat in Yorkshire. Everybody knows Yorkshire Belle just pulls out of Brid Harbour in summer and that, but it's a Tuesday today in May and it's not running today. So it's just moored up there, but that is the Yorkshire Belle, Bridlington's famous pleasure craft. We've also got fishing boats, as you can see behind me down here. You know what I mean? They're moored up as well. We've got like working fishing boats. So we've got leisure, we've got pleasure, and we've got industry all in one place here at Brid Harbour. So it's still a functioning harbour and it's still here to this day. I can't believe it. I'm absolutely amazed how mint it is at Brid Harbour. Right, so we're just at the north side here at Brid Harbour, and we're actually in the leisure and the pleasure part of the harbour. As you can see behind me, there's a wide selection of amusements and the fairground rides behind me. And obviously into the summer months this place will be packed with people, packed with tourists and people on the jollies and on the ollies. But we're still on harbour, so this is the leisure and pleasure, and also down at the side of me this is where you get all your snap from, so all your donuts, fish and chips, ice cream and stuff will be consumed here at Harbour Wall. And if you come here on a Sunday, on any given Sunday in the summertime, right, it'll be packed with people and they'll be hustling and bustling, it'll be full of tourism. But today it's just a normal day. And if you just take a look around, there's not a lot happening in Brid. If you look across the bay there in distance, you can see Flamborough Head. And obviously the cliffs that roll down into Bridlington here with the East Coast. And obviously onto Brid Harbour. Like I said, it's steeped in history and it's a good place to come in summertime, it is. I spent many a day in Bridlington myself as a young lad and had some really enjoyable days here at Brid. But today it's just quiet and chilled out. If you look behind me, just look how that tide's out, look how old it looks, how like Victorian it like, look at all that seaweed and stuff that's on side of them pillars, look how just preserved and how old it looks. It's just mad, isn't it? Well, boats like moored up and stuff, and it's still got its industry as well. Can you believe that people still have the 9 to 5 sailing these boats out of Brid Harbour every day, and they just do it every day? You know what I mean? They just think, yeah, I'm just going to take a boat out of Brid Harbour, and they just come down to Brid Harbour, park up and just jump on boat and go fishing for some whelks or something. You know what I mean? are a problem on Brid Harbour, because what it is when all tourists come and start scoffing their fish and chips is these seagulls are just dive bombing them and nicking the fish. I think everyone's got a story about when they've been sat on this Brid Harbour here, who's ever been to Brid, and one of the seagulls has sodded off with a fish and chips or something. It happens every day here at Brid, and it's these seagulls that are a problem. They're like rats with wings, and they're just flying around here at Brid Harbour, right? And they're just terrorising tourists. They don't only just sailboats out here, they actually service and repair them, and that's what this job is. This big frame here you can see behind me, it's actually a winch that'll lift boats out of water so they can be serviced. So underneath a boat can actually have maintenance, and that's what that does basically. Obviously everything needs maintenance, right? Everything needs looking after, and this is how they do boats. So they'll just park boat in that like rectangular concrete frame, and then obviously they'll put straps underneath all the boat, and they'll lift it out at floor, out at water. The whole boat will be lifted out of the water, and then obviously there'll be service and maintenance applied to the boat. Obviously, to get into the suspended dry dock, obviously we've got to have the tide in, so tide's got to be in for first place for it to be able to be used. But tides are, obviously, Brid is a tidal harbour. It ain't got big gates on front of it to keep water in like some harbours have. So you will find that there is times when you find boats and they're just on floor, like they're just on seabed basically. And obviously the tide's got to be in for that suspended dry dock to be used. Right, so we've been to Brid Harbour, we've had a look around Brid Harbour. Coming up next, here we are at Flamborough Head. We've just come to Flamborough Head to lighthouse. Colin, the edge world of everything. Lighthouse here on East Coast of Yorkshire. We've just been to Brid Harbour, now we've come to Flamborough Lighthouse. You can see lighthouse behind me there on the horizon. Now that specific lighthouse was built in 1806. It was built in 1806 and it was a replacement lighthouse. Before there were a medieval lighthouse which were never even lit, and they replaced it with that lighthouse. Now in 1996, what happened to that lighthouse, it became fully automated, meaning that from the 1806 to 1996 it was a manned lighthouse here. There's a foghorn behind me. Now the reason why this lighthouse and this foghorn station have been installed here at Flamborough, if you just look down here, right, I would like to think that I'm going to be crashing a boat into all these rocks, right? So obviously the lighthouse and the foghorn have been installed here at Flamborough Head to ensure the safe passage of vessels going north to south between the towns of Bridlington and Scarborough. So that's the reason for it really. And it's absolutely, it's ace up here and getting blown all over the place and everything. It's meant, the job of this station here is to detect fog. Now when it gets foggy, right, this is another automated station. It will automatically trigger a foghorn, but when it gets foggy, but up to 1975, before this station was installed here at Flamborough Head, right, they used to do it manually. We're going to have a close look at Lighthouse now and see what it's really all about. Prior to 1975, when it used to get foggy up here on Flamborough Head, what they used to do to ward the ships of the rocky output, which is Flamborough Head, right, they used to send rockets out into the sea. You know, just like launch rockets from Flamborough Head, probably from this location behind me. And the job of these rockets was to light up the fog and to warn passing vessels that Flamborough Head were here. So obviously, but ship didn't run aground and sink. Really windy place is Flamborough Head, as you can see. I mean, look, I'm just here and I'm just getting blown about by wind, just to show how exposed this area is of the actual East Coast. We've just been down in Bridlington about 15 minutes ago and there were no wind whatsoever. As you can see, there were no wind, but look how windy it is up here today on Flamborough Head. Just goes to show how exposed it is. Right, so if you look behind me, we've got the present Flamborough Head Lighthouse, the white one, right? But if you look in the distance, that is the original medieval lighthouse, which was situated here at Flamborough Head. But did you know that lighthouse never got lit? Right, so we've come back to the car to escape weather because it's proper wild outside. Me and cameraman here, we've just been nearly blown off end of cliff at Flamborough. We've been having to dig his heels into soft grass, right, to stop us tumbling off the edge of cliff and Colin the Head dying and dying on you. Yeah, we also tried to get into Flamborough Head lighthouse, but it's shut today because we've come on a Tuesday. It's open like it opened yesterday, but we've come on a Tuesday in the beginning of May, and it's shut, so we couldn't get into the lighthouse. But it is open. You can actually go up the lighthouse if you really want to on weekends, and obviously bank holidays and the peaks. It's like peak in summertime. You can go up every day, and yeah, that's there, so you can like go up the actual lighthouse and see how it actually works. But because we're here today, it's shut. So coming up next, we're going to go on this 130-year-old tram here in Scarborough. Colin the Head, world of everything. Right, so we're just in Scarborough, we're just up to Scarborough. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go get on 40p tram here at Scarborough and Colin the Head's world of everything. Cheers, buddy. Hey, so that was a very jolly experience, wasn't it, on that little tram? You can't come to Coast without going to amusements, can you? You know what I mean? You haven't been to Coast if you haven't been to amusements. You know, like, if people say, oh, I've been to Coast, and say, oh, have you been to amusements? And they said, no, you go to amusements. It's like, you've got to go to amusements. So what we're going to do that? I'm off to amusements. See you in a bit. That. Get in. Colin the Head's on a winning streak today. The last quid in this bandit. See if it gives me out. Yeah, oh, he's got the bar! I've got a fiver! Yeah, man. What a fiver! 20p to play?
Can't record now.
Can't record in here?
No, sorry mate. Can't record now.
Oh, I can't believe it. We've just come to this amusements here in Scarborough to go and spend some of my hard-earned money, and I've just been kicked out for filming in this arcade. I can't believe that at all. Just kicked us out, said we're not allowed to film because it's company policy and stuff. Oh, that's the last time I'll come to this amusement arcade. It's their loss, not mine. Right, so we're bottom of the lift here. Each carriage weighs 7.5 tons, fully loaded. So you've got like 14, 15 ton in total for counterweight. Now what there is like a wheel, and there's two ropes obviously run up the centre of the track, and there's grooves in wheel which these ropes grip into, and obviously the weight of the downcoming train will pull the weight of the upgoing train. So technically speaking, it's a counterbalance weight lift. And as you can see, there's two tracks to each side. So obviously that's another track for the lift. And obviously the other carriage is at the top of the cliff. So this lift, it said, is 130-year-old. And it's still in operation to this day. That's just a little bit about the cliff tram here at Scarborough. Coming up next in the show, decided to walk up this massive hill and come and have a look at this old castle that exists here in Scarborough. Colin the Head's world of everything. Right, so we've come to Scarborough Castle. Now most people just think, oh god, it's Scarborough Castle, but actually Scarborough Castle is actually steeped in history. 500 years BC, so 500 years before Christ, right? There were actually something here which resembled either a fort or some sort of settlement. And around the birth of Christ, so around the birth of Christ, there was actually a chapel built here at Scarborough Castle. In the 4th century it was used as a Roman signalling station. In the 11th century there was a wooden fortress here before the actual stone castle was built. Now the reason why Scarborough Castle is here is its height, right? It's pretty high up, it's on a massive hillside. You can see right over the bay of Scarborough. You can see incoming invaders for miles and miles around, and it's got good 360 degrees views. And we're just stood here at the gates of the castle here at Scarborough, and as you can see it's quite impressive. It's an impressive gate to the castle. And what we're going to do, we're just going to have a quick walk round and take a look inside and see what Scarborough Castle's got to offer Colin the Head's world of everything. Hey up, two please.
That's not on me, is it? Can you turn it round for me? I'm really uncomfortable. No, like round so it's facing you.
It's facing him.
It's facing me.
I'm not comfortable with it.
I'm celebrity.
I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable.
Alright then, she's not comfortable.
Turn it round.
An hour ago I was getting blown all over cliffs in Flamborough, and look at it now, it's glorious sunshine here in Scarborough. The reason for the position of this castle here in Scarborough was because of that, right? If anybody wanted to invade this castle, right, then I've got a job on their hands. I mean, how's anyone going to attack this castle from up here? I mean, look how high we are. I mean, we've got a good view of it North Bay here at Scarborough. I mean, it's a lovely view at North Bay. Oh, this is a view. This is the North Bay, and obviously over here we've got the South Bay. And as you can see, look, you've got really good views of the whole Scarborough Bay. Right, so we're just at this tower. This is the iconic tower that everyone sees behind me in Scarborough. I mean, it's just a ruin. Before this actual castle was built, there was actually a simplistic wooden fort that actually were here. Mad, isn't it? Look at it. Like been built to last, and it's just been battered by East Coast weather, and it's still here. You know what I mean? It's still here. Right, so this building here behind me is the keep here at Scarborough Castle. So that would have been where basically the inhabitant, the main inhabitant of actual Scarborough Castle, whether it be or whether it would be, right? It'd live in keep. So that was like the solid part of the castle. That was the retreat. That was the probably the most heavily guarded part of the castle. So that's the keep over here, and obviously this area here where we are is the master gunner's house. So we've got a lot of guns here, and it's a really chilled place to come. It does cost to get in here. There is a charge, and it cost us £5.80, right? First time we've ever paid on Colin the Head's world of everything to physically come into a tourist attraction. And we thought Scarborough Castle, you know, we had to come to Scarborough Castle, we had to come and have a look at it for a sense and see what it's all about. So it's cost us best part of 11 quid to come in here today, and I don't think budget really stretches that far. I'm gonna be in debt to Scarborough Castle forever. Well, I can't believe what's just happened. We've paid an admission fee with £5.80, and Simon Rowe is the site manager at Scarborough Castle for English Heritage, and he's actually escorted us off site and told us we're not allowed to film in there because we haven't got permission. So we've been escorted off at site at Scarborough Castle, and basically we've asked for a refund, and he's told me if I email him asking him permission to go and film inside the Scarborough Castle, then if the bosses say yeah we can, then that's fine. But we've paid his admission fee, and they've obviously kicked us out and told us to leave. What best thing about it is we're not allowed to film in there, right? But there's people as I speak walking around this castle behind me here at Scarborough, right, with video cameras and camera phones, right, taking films and footage at camera, but we're not allowed to film. We've got to get permission. So Simon basically at Scarborough Castle politely asked us to leave. Obviously we did, and we didn't obviously start to create a fuss and stuff. But yeah, it's a shame really. I'm a bit disheartened, and I don't think we'll be coming back to Scarborough, to be fair. You know what I mean? No one's really welcomed us with open arms. All we've got, we've been kicked out of an amusement arcade. We've been chuffing. We didn't get a polite reception at chuffing at Scarborough tramway, right? And then to top it all off, we've been booted out at Scarborough Castle as well, all in one day. How mint is that? You can't get any better, really. So Colin there's not very happy with Scarborough, and I'm not coming back to film at Scarborough. Not at all. He really ruined his day. So that's about it. I know the viewers back at home and my dedicated viewers will be a bit disappointed that Scarborough Castle's been cut short. You know what I mean? It's like, send Simon Rowe, the site manager at Scarborough Castle, an email explaining how unhappy you are to see the fact that Colin the Head's World of Everything was kicked out of Scarborough Castle today. Well, I had a couple more minutes to do and we'd have been done, right? If you obviously think that we were treated unfairly, I want you to email Simon. I want you to tell Simon what you think, basically. So that's what I want you to do. Thanks for your support. Just get Simon Rowe an email dropped in. He physically chased us uphill. You know what I mean? He was scurrying up after us. You know what I mean? It's like, well, we're not really doing that much wrong, really. Another 5 minutes in that castle, right, would have been done. We'd have walked around, right? You know what I mean? We were paying customers. We were tourists. So it's up to you, Colin the Head fans, right? You need to get Simon Rowe and send him an email telling him how unhappy you are at the fact that the Scarborough Castle scene were cut short because of him, right? So it's up to you guys back at home. Much appreciated, thank you. Cheers for watching Colin the Head's World of Everything today. It's been an eventful show, and bye.